Hello world, John True here. I'm out at the land that I've been farming for the last 2 years, and I thought I would share a discovery. You know, this is a very harsh and unforgiving place to farm, and it's surrounded by desolate fields that have been tilled and sprayed over and over and over until there's nothing left of any substance in the ground, and they're now being raised for suburbs everywhere you look. This is an isolated little plot of 65 acres that hasn't been tilled in 30 years, but it was once the home of such practices, and now it's been converted into a broken dream of regenerative agriculture and tree nurseries. It's a very sad situation we have out here, and the land is now up for sale. And I am concerned that it will be sold to these developers for more of the same sickness, and I cannot do nothing about that. I was back in this house recently and I found this. That's a birdhouse gourd from over 100 years ago. Could you imagine just planting something in the ground and receiving that kind of a bounty? That's how it used to be here. And now you look around, I see nothing but death, disease, and destruction. And it breaks my heart. Our society has gone wrong in so many ways. And we all would like to try and fix things. But where to start? My wife and I would like to own this land so that we can build a temple of life and create a culture of life, where people come, women come to give birth, couples come to conceive, people come to heal, and life in all of its many forms is cherished and valued. God is honored. We need your help to make that reality. What I see out here happening is us transforming the 65 acres in a way that no one around us could even imagine. Putting more cattle on here using these regenerative practices, irrigating the land the right way. Women giving birth to the most exalted souls. Healing happening. We want to design an experiment for God, wherein we honor His ways and we seek to explore Him, to find Him, to understand what God is. I've come to the realization that we are assimilation. God gave us an operating system, and we've been abusing it, neglecting it, raping it. But I've also found that in the beginning, God gave us a programming language. He gave us the source code of His construction. And the Jewish people have been carrying that with them, pursued to the ends of the earth for thousands of years. We live now in the end of days, when they are starting to open their oral tradition to anyone with a mind to seek it. And what we find is a story much different than what we were told. We find that we've been lied to all along. That man and his fabrications have concealed the truth about us and God and our place in this universe. I think it's time that we conduct these experiments where we seek to explore the idea that we are a simulation with the ability to interact with reality, create life. And so we're asking for your help. Help to buy this land. Help to do something new that's so old we've lost history of it. We seek to explore the Torah, to sing the Shema, to be happy, to live in a post-fear society where good food and good health are the way of life, not the exception. I don't think that we can do that in our current system. We have to escape. This land sits in between 3 cities in central Texas. Geronimo Creek. It's a place set aside by God for this experiment. I know that God brought me here to bring truth and life to this world, to make straight the way for the Lord. I have been called to become a warrior of God. And I know that there are many, many, many warriors out there just like me who want the same thing. And I know that these farmers around us, as they're retiring, they don't feel good about the land that they're leaving as their inheritance. What I would like to do out here is show and demonstrate these different ways, how effective they can be. And when others see this, they will want that, because that is what God wants. And so rather than these farmers and ranchers spending the last years of their life regretting all the decisions that they made, regretting being fooled for so long, and instead of that happening, I would like to give them an alternative. An army of young holy warriors that are ready and willing to come and restore fertility to their soils, bring life back to their land. I want to start a revolution of the right kind, one of truth, of godliness, holiness. It is not something for the faint of heart. This land that I have been on, it is a harsh place to grow anything. Death, pests, disease, overhead spraying. God wants me to conduct this experiment here, where it is going to be the hardest, in the heart of Texas. And we can make a beginning. We can begin to rally the troops, and God will muster His army to help us, because this is the end of the beginning. But we need your help. By throwing your hat in this ring, answering the call to farms as I have been called and have answered, we can march out together, create a new society, bridge the old and the new, the young and the old, and bring life back into our world. I would never forgive myself if I did not ask. I think if we all ask and we walk in God's ways, anything is possible. And this would not be the first experiment. it would be the first of many all over the world. God has given me an education in the ways of the world and an understanding that His way is the only way forward. We see what is going on in our society, and it's tragic what we are doing to our children, to one another. It must change, or we will fall into oblivion. I ask you now to join me in this experiment. It is not an experiment for me. It is an experiment for us. Because we have to have faith now more than ever. And if we join together, the rains will return, the darkness will recede, and joy and laughter and life will return. Evil has no power of its own, only that which it takes from holiness. We must become holy once again and return the power to God. Join me in the call to arms, and someday we will all sing the Shema. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God. God is one. And when we wake up to the unity of it all, the beauty of God's hand, the gates of supernal wisdom will open, and we will see as a species that our story has only just begun. And it's time to get to work. Join me and let us sing together.